Welcome back everyone. Today we'll be looking at the combination of sine and cosine rule in solving triangles. The first question on our list is, tell us to calculate the unknown sides and angles correct to three significant figures. What this question is trying to say, the sides which are not given should be made known, and also the angles that are not given should be solved for. Now, you can see from this question that this is not given, so it's a question. D is equally not given, is a question. And BC is a side who is not given, is also a what? Question. BC can be written as what? Small letter A. Angle B is facing this side, so AC can be written as small letter what? B. And we have AB here, which can be represented by the what? Letter what? C. Since this angle C is facing this place. So we have small letter what? C. So that's for that. Now, what's the first thing we do? If you observe, we have two sides and an included angle. Since we have two sides and the angle formed between them, which is the included angle, we can start with what? Cosine rule to get our angle what? A. So we can simply have small letter A squared to be equals to B squared plus C squared, and I'll put minus here. Why? This angle is obtuse. Acute angle, which is less than what? 90 degrees. So I have minus 2 multiplying B and C, cos capital letter what? A. Now, I have my A squared to be equals to, what is my value of B? 4. So I have my 4 squared plus the value of C is what? 5. I have my 5 squared minus 2 times 4 times what? 5. Always put a close bracket here so that you can solve everything before relating with this. X, you might be 10 to go and say 5 minus 2 in an examination if this bracket is not here. So please take note. Take note, please. So you have 2 times 4 times 5 cos. What's my angle A? My angle A is 66 what? Degree. So I have A squared to be equals to 4 squared is what? 16. 5 squared is what? 25 minus this 66. So we have 2 times 4, 8. 8 times 5 is what? 40. So I'll simply have 40 times my value of cos 66. You can use the four-figure table to look for cos 66 if you choose to, which is cos 66 under 0. So I'm using my calculator. Cos 66 gives me 0.4067. 0.4067. So this plus this will give me 11. 1 carry 1, 4. So I have minus. So I'll simply add this value times what? 40. And this will give me 16.2695. And 41 minus 8. 41 minus my value will give me what? 24.730 what? 5. And I'll have my small letter A. When I take the square root from both sides, 24.7305. I should have 4 point something, because this is greater than 16, then less than what? 25. So my square root of my answer should give me 4.973 to 3 significant what? Figures. To 3 decimal places, but they said to 3 significant figures. So I should have this to be approximately equals to what? 4.9. This is not up to 4 to add up. So I have 4.9 what? 7 to what? 3 significant what? Figures. Now I've gotten my first part. I can clean this now. I can put the real value. 4.97 cm. Now the next thing I have to look for is to look for my what? Angle B and angle what? C. But if you watch, B, angle side B is smaller than side C. So I will look for my B first to prevent what I call ambiguity. So I'm focusing on B now. I want to use my what? Sine rule, since angles are what? Involved. Somebody else can still decide to use what? Since the 3 sides are known, to use what? Cosine rule. To say ordinary C should be equal to cos inverse of what? B squared plus A squared plus B squared minus small letter C squared all over 2AB. But I simply want to use my sine rule. So I have small letter A all over sine A to be equal to small letter B all over sine B to be equal to small letter C all over sine what? C. Again, when A, B, and C are the what? Sides. So I'll put in all my values directly. My A is already 4.917 all over sine. My A is given 66 what? Degree. My B is what? 4 all over sine. Angle B is not known. And my C is what? 5 all over sine what? Angle C. So you see, if I combine these two, I will get my sine B, since only B is the what? Unknown. And if I combine the first fraction and the third fraction, I can easily get my what? My what? Angle what? C. So starting with the first. So mark this because we solved it. And I can equally claim this. So using this, I have 4.97 all over sine 66 to be equals to 4 all over sine what? B. If I cross multiply, I'll have 4.97 sine B to be equals to 4 sine 66 what? Degree. And I'll divide through by 4.97 all over 4.917. This will cancel this, and I'll have sine B to be equals to 4 sine 66 equals 3.65 and so on, divided by 4.97. This will give me 0.7352. So if I look for the arc function of B, which is sine inverse of B, 0.7352, I will have B to be equals to shift sine of what? My answer. And I'll have 47.3 what? Degree to 3 significant what? Figure, like I said. So here's my B, my angle B, 47.3 what? Degree. So what's left is to get my angle C. And remember, if A and B are gotten well, you don't need to solve for your angle C, stressing yourself. All you need to do is to use sum of angle in a what? Triangle. And remember, angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equals to 180 what? Degree. Sum of any interior angle of a triangle, no matter the type of what? Triangle. So my angle is 66 degrees. So I have 66 degrees plus my angle B, which I just solved, 47.3 degree, plus my angle what? C equals to 180 what? Degree. And angle C will be equals to 180 degree minus 66 degree minus 47.3 what? Degree. So I have my angle C to be equals to 180 minus what? 66 minus what? 47.3. So I have my angle C to be 66.7 what? Degree. 66.7 what? Degree. So I've gotten the three parameters which are not given, which are side BC, which is 4.97 centimeter, angle B, which is 47.3 degree, and angle C, which is 66.7 what? Degree. All to three significant what? Figures. Now I want us to check to verify if our answer, our angle and the sides are even correct. First, if you see, the biggest angle here is what? 66.7, which is what? C. And it carries the biggest side, 5. And you can see the difference between side A and side C is so minute, but still it's bigger than it. And next, if you watch the least angle, which is B, have the least side, which is what? 4. And again, if you still try to sum up, 4 plus 5 is 9, is greater than 4.97. Also, 4.97 plus 5 is 9.97, is greater than 4. And 4 plus 4.97 is greater than 5, because this will give you 8.97. So the triangle is so correct, and the angles gotten are equally what? Correct. So thank you. So again, we have calculate the unknown sides and angles, and it said give final answers to three significant what? Figures. Now we have angle ACB here to be 139 degrees, meaning this is an obtuse what? Triangle, because the angle C is greater than 90 what? Degree. Now what do we do? First, we have an included angle between two given sides. So the first thing we must do is to get our what? AB, using the cosine what? Rule. So this side AC is facing this angle C, so this becomes small letter C. This angle B is facing this way, so this becomes small letter B. And this facing this way becomes small letter what? A. So I can simply have my small letter c squared to be equals to what? A square plus what? B squared plus 2ab cos capital letter 180 degree minus what? Angle what? C. Why plus? Because it's greater than 180. So I must say 180 minus the angle. So take note. So I will have my small letter a is 8. So I have 8 square plus my b is 5. 5 square plus 2 times what? 8 times what? 5. Cos open bracket 180 degree minus 139 what? Degree. 8 square is what? 8 times 8, which is what? 64. 5 square is what? 5 times 5, which is 25. Plus 2 times 5 is 10. And 10 times 8 is what? 80. So I have 80 cos 180 minus 139. This is 10. 10 minus 9 will give me what? 1. Here's left with what? 7. 7 minus 3 will give me what? 4. So I have 41 what? Degree. Now, I'll have 64 plus 25 plus, you can check your cos. You can check your cos 41 from your calculator or your 4-figure table. So my cos 41. So I have 80. 80 times the value of cos 41, which is 0.7547. And this will give me 64 plus 25 plus so 80 cos 41 directly will give me what? 60.3768. And if I sum all these together, c square will be equals to 64.25. Will give me 149.3 what? 8. And c will be equals to the square root of 149.3 what? 8. And c will be equals to, this will give me 12.222. And c will be approximately equals to 12.2 watts 2 meter to 3 significant what? Figures. So 3 significant figures mean we should have 3 real numbers. So I've gotten my first, which is the side. So I can replace this now with 12.2 watts meter. And first, if I check, 8 plus this is 20.2 is greater than 5. Good. 5 plus 12.2 give me 17.2 is greater than 8. And 5 plus 8, 10, 13 is greater than 12.2. So this is a good triangle. Now we've done that. Let's get the two other angles. If I get, remember the angle I want to get first is a smaller angle. Take note, try to follow that rules. My smaller angle here should face the smaller side. The smallest angle should face the smallest side. And 5 and 8 are what I'm considering. So angle B is facing 5 centimeter, angle A is facing 8 centimeter, so angle B should be smaller. So if I want to get it, I can use, since I've known an angle and a side, and I know this side, I can use my sine rule. So I have my sine rule in general to be A, which is side, all over sine capital letter A is equals to B all over sine capital letter B equals to C all over sine capital letter what? C. And I have my small letter A to be 8. So I have 8 all over sine capital letter A to be equals to, where is my B? 5 all over sine capital letter what? B, and equals to C, which is 12.2 all over sine capital letter what? C. So if you watch, my angle C is known, which is what? 139 what degree. So I want to look for B first because B have a smaller side. So I'm relating this and this. So if I do that, I will have 5 all over sine B to be equals to 12.2 all over sine 139 what degree. If I cross multiply, I have 12.2 sine B to be equals to 5 sine 139 degree. And I'll divide through by 12.2 so that B will stand what? Alone. This will cancel this, and I'll have sine B to be equals to 5 sine 139 will give me 3.280 3.2803 all over what? 12.2. And sine B will be equals to this value divided by what? 12.2, giving me 0.2689. And my B will be equal to sine inverse of 0.2689. And B will be equals to shift sine of this value. And that will give me 15.597 degree. So B will be approximately equal to what? 15.6 degree to three significant what? Figures. So I've gotten my B. Here is my B here. This is my B. 15.6 degree. And again, I have A, angle A plus angle what? B plus angle what? C to be equal to 180 degree. Why? Sum of interior angles in a triangle. And I have what left? My angle A left. So I have A, angle A plus my value of B is what? My angle B is 15.6 degree plus my angle C, which is given 139 degree, equals to 180 degree. And my angle A will be equals to 180 degree minus 139 degree minus 15.6 degree. And my angle A finally will give me 180 minus 139 minus 15.6. And I'll have 25.4 degree to what? Three significant figure. So my A is 25.4 degree. First, if you sum up the three angles, you're going to have 180 degree. And the biggest angle here you can see, which is angle C, next angle A is in length, MSCB in length is bigger than what? AC in length. And the angle facing CB is 8, which is also bigger. Angle facing CB, which is angle A, is 25.4, also bigger than the angle facing CB, which is 15.4 degree. So the angle is absolutely, solving is absolutely what? Correct. Thank you. We have this again on our list. It said calculate the unknown sides and angles. Give final answers to what? Three significant figures. We have angle A to be 140.15 degree, our B to be 45 meter, and our C to be 24 meter. So I always want us to draw a diagram, but here you see is greater, A is greater than 90. So I always want to have it at the top. Let this be A, 140.15 degree. And let this be our B. Let this be our C. Our B here is 45. So if it's exam, since B is 45, you can see that it will be greater than C. If B is 45, you can decide to draw here down a little more or slant here a little more. Please take notes. So here become my C. So B is 45 meter, which corresponds to AC. And our side C is 24 meter. You can see it. This is where the angle is facing, so this must be C. And this is where this angle B is facing. It's facing this side. Look at it, facing this side, so it must be B. And what else are we given? So we are given B and C. So simply we can get our A. To get our A, we simply use A squared to be equals to B squared plus C squared plus 2BC, because capital letter A. Why plus? Angle is greater than 90. So here become in brackets 180 degree minus the value of A. So here must be plus. You can decide to use minus here, but immediately you subtract 180, you must change it to plus, because it will carry a negative value of become negative cos A. Take notes. So if I'm putting my value, I have A squared to be equals to my B is 45. So I have 45 square plus my C is 24. 24 square plus 2 times 45 times 24 cos 180 degree minus the value of A, which is 140.15 degree. And I'll have my A square to be equals to, let's check. Let me get out my calc. So we have 45 square to give us 2025. So we have 2025 here plus 24 square as well to give us what? 576 plus 2 times 40 times 2 times 45, which is 90 times 24, will give us 2160 cos. 2160 cos. So I have 180 minus 140.15 to give me 39.84 degree. And I'll come over, I'll have my a square to be equal to, I can just work this out once, that you can check for your cos 39.84 fixed as a student. It will give you 0.7679. You put it down before you multiply with what? 2160. So I'll multiply by 2160 and I'll have 2025 plus 576 plus the cos of this multiplied by this, giving me 1658.5. So a square will be equals to the addition of all this plus 576 plus 2025. This will give me 4259.53, and a will give me the square root of positive square root of 4259.53, and a will be equals to 65.27 watts, which units? Meter. And remember why we are using only the positive, because this is supposed to give us plus minus two values, but we are using plus because its side must be what? Positive. So I've gotten my first side, and if you watch, if my side was lesser than 24 or lesser than 45, I'll know my answer is what? Wrong. Why? The biggest angle must correspond to the biggest what? Side. So I've gotten my side A as what? 65.3 meter to 3 significant figure. Take notes. So I've gotten the first. Now I need to look for my angle B and my angle C. And you know we must look for angle C first. Why? It's smaller compared to what? Each side is 24. It's smaller compared to what? This side is C, which corresponds to angle B. So therefore, I must get my angle B first, angle C first, to prevent ambiguity. Remember, please. So I simply fall down to my what? Sine rule. If I'm using my sine rule and I've gotten my A and I want to get my C without putting the complete sine rule, I already know that I'm looking for what? My angle C, since it's the smaller side first. I will have C all over sine capital letter C, and the value of A, which are complete, which are what? Small letter A all over sine capital letter what? A. And this simply will give me small letter C, which is 24, all over angle C, which I'm looking for, equals to small letter A. Small letter A is what? 65.3, which we just solved for, all over. Please, if it's exam, don't use it this way. Take the values back a little. Please take note, take it back a little. You don't use the approximated value. It's not right. And I have my sine 140.15 watts degree. To make sine C sort of formula, I'll simply have sine C, or let me stress you a little. My C will be equals to sine inverse of 24 sine 140.15 degree all over what? All over 65.27. So C will be equals to 24 sine 140.15 equal this, divide by 65.27, gives you this, then shift sign answer, giving me my angle C is 13.628 degree, and C is approximately equals to 13.6 degree to 3 significant what? Figure. So my angle C is 13.6 degree. Since my angle A is known, which is given, and my angle C has been gotten, I can get my angle B easily. So let's see, because we need the theory information not given. So I have my angle A plus angle B plus angle C to be equal to what? 180 degrees, sum of angles in a triangle. And my A is already 140.15 degree given. My B is what I'm looking for presently, and my angle C is 13.6 degree equals to 180 degree. Remember, angle B must be greater than angle C, because angle B, the side is greater, but it must be less than what? Angle A, which is 140.15 degree, because we can't have two obtuse angles in a what? Triangle. So I have angle B to be equals to 180 degree minus 140.15 degree, positive cross inequality sign, and minus what? 13.6 degree. And my angle B will be equals to 180 minus 140.15 minus 13.6, giving me 26.25 degree. So angle B is approximately equals to what? 26.3 degree. And this is my answer. The question says to three significant figures. In an examination, what I normally do, since this is to two significant figures, my two other values, or make them to two significant figures. So when I sum up all the values, I'll have my angle to be exactly what? 180 degree. So angle B is 26.3 degree. 26.3 degree. And this is solution to this given what? Question. Thank you. Again, we have a figure on the board. They say we should calculate the area of triangle PROX. Area of triangle PROX in the figure below. So we have this figure, and the triangle they are talking about is PROX. An area of triangle, since I have the height of the triangle known, PRO should be my what? Base. So I should have area of triangle, area of triangle PROX should be equals to half, from half base times height, or half. The base here should be what? PRO. And the height should be what? ST. So this is it. I've gotten my ST, but I don't know my what? PRO. How can I get my PRO? Now I have this side. I have two sides, but I don't know this angle. And I can't get this triangle directly. I can't get angle Q directly, because I don't know this side also. But I can get this P, this angle here. I can get this angle here. So using my sine rule, I can say let here be small p, small r, and let this be p arrow represented by small what? Q. Take notes. Small what? Q. Now, my aim, remember, is to get my P arrow so I can get my triangle easily, because ST is giving us 3 centimeters already. Now, area of triangle, I want to get my P. I can say small letter P all over sine capital letter what? P will be equals to a known side and a known angle. Small letter arrow all over sine capital letter what? Arrow. Now, I will have my P is 8. 8 all over sine of capital P I'm looking for, equal to my arrow is 7 all over sine, capital letter R is what? 40 degree. And I'll have 7 sine P to be equals to 8 sine 40 degree. Since I'm looking for sine P, I'll divide through by 7 and I'll have 8 sine 40 degree all over what? 7, dividing through by 7. Or I can have 7 over what? 7, and this will cancel this. And I'll have sine P to be equals to 8 sine 7 first. 8 sine 40 rather will give me 5.1423 all over 7. And I'll have my sine P to be equals to, divided by 7, I will have 0.7346. And angle P will be equals to sine inverse of 0.7346. And P will be equals to shift sine what? Answer. Giving me angle P to be 42.275 what? Degree. So I've gotten this angle here to be 47.275 what? Degree. So this angle is angle QPR. Remember, QPR. Now, if I've gotten that, so angle P is that, which is the same thing as P is equals to angle what? QPR equals to what? 47.275 what? Degree. So I've gotten one angle. I can therefore get my angle what? I can get my angle Q. Because I must get my Q small before I get my small letter q. So let me clean all this. Now, again, you agree with me that angle, let me put the real values, angle PQR plus angle PRQ plus angle, what's the third angle now? Angle RPQ is equals to 180 what? Degree. And angle PQR, yes, PQR, that's what I'm looking for now. Angle PQR is what I'm looking for. Plus angle PRQ is giving us 40 degree. Plus angle RPQ, which we just solved, 47.275 what degree will be equals to 180 what degree. And angle PQR will be equals to 180 degree minus 40 degree, moving to the other side, minus 47.275 what degree. And angle PQR will be equals to 180 minus 40 minus 47.275. And that will give me 92.725 what degree. So this is 92.725 what degree. So I've gotten that, and with that I can get my small letter q, because I now have the two sides and the included what angle. I can use cosine to get my q, and q equals what? PR. Remember, so I will have my q square, which equals to what? PR square equals to what? R square plus p square. R square plus p square. Since the angle is greater than 90, I'm going to use plus 2RP cos 180 degree minus what? Angle q. And I'm using PR here, so I can neglect this. So I have PR what? Square to be equals to my R square is what? R is what? 7. So I have 7 square plus P is 8. 8 square plus 2 times 7 times 8 cos 180 degree minus my angle Q is 92.725 degree. 92 points. Please take notes. So this will give me 7 squared is what? 49. 8 squared is 64 plus 2 times 8 16, and 16 times what? 7 will give me 112 cos. So I have 180 minus 92.725, and that will give me 87.275 what? Degree. And if I say cos of this value, cos of that will give me this, and I'll have times 112, I will have this. So I have 49 plus 64 plus 112 cos 87.275 will give me 5.3247. And if I add up all this, I'm going to have plus 64 plus 49. And this will give me 118.32. And P arrow, ordinary P arrow taking the square root, will give me the square root of 118.32. And square root of this answer will give me 10.878 watts, which unit? Centimeter. So I've gotten P arrow. And if you watch, P arrow is greater than what? 7 and 8. Why? Is the biggest what? Angle. So angle PQ arrow is an obtuse what? Triangle PQ arrow is an obtuse what? Triangle. So we are focusing on our P arrow, which we've gotten as 10.878 centimeter. So I'll put it into this formula, and my area as asked, area of triangle P arrow X will be equals to 1/2 times P arrow. P arrow is what? 10.878 times the value of ST, which is what? 3. And we'll have it as times 3 equal this and divide by 2, giving me 16.31317 centimeter square. Why centimeter square? Because we have base and height. So if the two units combine, 10 multiply 10.878 centimeter times 3 centimeter will give me 1 centimeter square. So the final answer for this shape, for the area of triangle PROS is equals to 16.317 centimeter what? Square. Thank you. So still on the combination of sine and cosine rule, we have this. Let's say we should find the value of y in this what? Figure. That means from year to year is 4, year to year is 2, year to year is y, year to year is 5, and year to year is also 5, and year to year is what? 2. We have an angle giving us what? Theta. So how do we get y? First, if you observe very well, you see that we have how many triangles here? This is one triangle, and this is another what? Triangle. So we have 2 triangles. So from the smaller triangle, like we can see here, this theta, this 4, this 2, and this 5. From this we can get our value of what? Theta. To get our theta, we have angle theta to be equals to cos inverse since 3 sides are known. Now it becomes what? These 2 must be added, the square of it must be added, and you subtract this. So you simply have what? 4 square plus what? 5 square minus the side facing it, 2 square, all over 2 times the product of this, 2 times 4 times 5 without the square, remember. So we have this to be equals to cos inverse of 4 square is what? 16, 5 square is what? 25, 2 square is what? 4, all over this times this will give me what? 2 times 5 is what? 10, 10 times 4, 40. So we have this to be equals to cos inverse of, this will give me 16 plus 21. This will give me 37 over what? 40. And I'll have theta to be equals to cos inverse of 37 divided by 40. Giving me 0.925. And theta will be equals to shift cos of what? Answer. and I have theta as 22.33 what degree to 2 decimal what places. So I've gotten this for my theta. Then remember, I can also get a complete triangle. This remain my what theta, and theta is not altered. Why? Is the edge is a common angle between the two triangles. So my theta here remain what 22.33 what degree. For the bigger angle, I have 4 plus 2 to give me what 6. My y remain unchanged at this edge. 5 plus 5 will give me what 10, and I'm looking for y. So I have two sides and the included angle, so I can use cosine rule to get my what y. So I have y square to be equals to 6 square plus what 10 square minus 2. Y minus the angle is an acute angle, so it become 2 times what 6 times what 10 cos what 22.33 what degree. So I have my y square to be equal 6 square is what 36 plus 10 square 100 minus 2 times 6 12. So I have 120 times cos of 22.3. I have 0.925, just like I got here earlier. Remember, which is, where is it? Which is this, before taking the cos inverse. So I have that, and y square will be equals to 36 plus 100 minus, so this value times what 120, giving me 111, and y will be equals to 36 plus 100 minus 111, giving me what 25 y square. So y will be equal to the square root of 25, and I'll have my y to be equals to what 5 centimeter. So the answer to this is equals to what 5 units, since they didn't give us a unit. 5 units. So that's the answer. Said in triangle ABC, M is the midpoint of what BC. They said we should calculate cos B in triangle what ABC, and we should also calculate AM. So how do we do that? We are looking for cos B. So if I should say B is equals to cos inverse of what? A square plus C square minus B square all over 2AC. I will have, let me use the top. I will have my B to be equals to cos inverse of my A. Let me check for my A. My A is BC, so my A will be equals to 4 plus 4, which will equal to 8 cm. My A is facing what BC, because I'm considering angle ABC in full. Look at it. I'm considering ABC in full. So this is B, this C, this is 8 cm, this is 7 cm, and this is what 9 cm. I'm neglecting this line. Take note. So I'll have my A to be what 8 square plus my C is what? This is my C. 9 what square minus my B. My B is what 7 square all over 2 times what 8 times what 9. So I have cos inverse of 8 square is 64, 9 square is 81, 7 square is 49, all over 2 times 9 18, and I'll have 18 times what 8 to give me what 144. And I'll have cos inverse to give me 64 plus 81 minus 49, giving me what 90 what 6 all over what 144. And if I break down, I'll have 96 divided by what 144. That should give me what 2 over 3. That I wasn't asked to look for angle B. I'm asked to look for cos B. So if I want to bring my cos from here to here, it becomes cos B to be equals to 2 all over what 3. And this is my answer for cos B. Now, the next question I was asked we were asked is to look for what? AM. Now, how do we work out AM? Is cos B is equals to 2 over 3. Let's write it out. So let's see how we can get our AM. Now, if we still look at this triangle, this B, we know that B relates to what? AM. And the two sides are given, and the angle B is given, which we've solved for. So we are looking for here now, small letter b relating to this. So if we bring out this information, we are going to have something like this. This b, this m, and this what? A. And we are looking for what? AM, which corresponds to what? B. And this is my 9 cm. What else am I given? BM is what? 4 cm. So I can simply look for this. This is already known. So I'll have b squared to be equal to what? And if you want to know the formula you want to use, you can press the shift cos of this. So this value is less than what? 90. So you are using negative, the one that carries negative sign. So we have b squared equal a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cos capital letter what? B. So my b squared is already here. I remember b squared is equals to what? BM. B squared is equals to what? AM. So let me write it out, please. B squared is equals to what? AM squared. So I'm using AM since we're asked for AM. I use the b squared so you understand the formula easily. So my A is what? So I have AM squared, which is equals to, my A happens to be what? 4. And do I have C? I don't have C. So let me change it to M. And here become what? Small letter m as well. So get used to the formula. You don't need to cram it. So I have my A as what? 4 square. And my m facing this as what? 9 square. Minus 2 times 4 times what? 9. Cos of B. But cos of B is already known as what? 3 over 2. So simply write times what? 2 over 3 rather. 2 over what? 3. And 4 square is what? 16. 9 square is what? 81. Minus, this can cancel this to give me 3. And 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 8, 24. And 24 times 2 will give me 40 what? 8. So I have 16 plus 81 minus 48 will give me what? 49. So I have AM square. If I take the square root of half AM to be equals to what? 7, which unit? Centimeter, as my what? Answer. Thank you. We have a figure on the board and they say we should calculate the value of x and theta. And we are given some dimensions 5, 7, 5, 6. This is theta. The broken line is the distance for what? The length of theta or length of x. And theta is the angle sustained. So how do we calculate for x and theta? First, we can get x easily because we have two included sides and an angle facing what? X. So we can use cosine rule to get our x. We simply have x squared from cosine rule will be equals to what? Let's assume this is y and this is z. X squared will be equals to what? Y squared plus z squared minus this angle is less than 90. So I have 2yz cos what? 70 what? Degree. So this can be cos capital letter X, but I don't want to stress myself dimensioning it. So I have x squared to be equals to y is what? 5. 5 squared plus z is what? 6 squared minus 2 times 5 times 6 cos what? 70 what? Degree. So this will give me 25 plus what? 36 minus 2 times 6, 12. This will give me what? 60. So I have 2 times 5 times 6 cos what? Cos 70. And I have 20.521. And I'll have 25 plus 36 minus 20.521 to give me 40.4788. And if I take my square root of 40.4788, I will have my value of x to be equals to 6.36 watts. All values are, all lengths are in centimeters, so I have this in centimeter. 6.36 was centimeter. So if I've gotten this, I can also take this as one part of the triangle. This is the part on the zone of the triangle, which is theta, and I've gotten my x to be 6.36 was centimeter. This is 7 and this is 5. I can use my cosine ray again to get my angle, since three sides I know. My theta will be equal to what? Cos inverse of, I'll just put my values directly. This 2 square, 7 square plus what? 5 square minus this angle square, the side of the angle square, 6.36 was square, all over 2 times what? 7 times what? 5. So theta will be equal to what? Cos inverse. I'm using cosine rule here, take notes. So 7 square is what? 49. 5 square is what? 25. Minus 6.3, what is it called, square will give me 40.479 all over 2 times 5, 10. 10 times 7 will give me what? 70. And I'll have my theta to be cos inverse of, so I have 49 plus 25 minus 40.479 to give me 33.52 all over 70. And this will give me cos inverse. If I use this to divide this, so I have divided by 70, I'll have cos of 0.47887, and my angle theta will be equals to shift cos what? Answer, and I'll have 61.39 what? Degree as my final answer. So in this question, s is equal to 6.36 centimeter and the angle theta is 61.39 what? Degree. We have in triangle PQRO, P ratio Q ratio R is equals to root 3 1 ratio 1. We say calculate the ratio angle P ratio angle Q ratio angle R in its simplest form. Now this is a triangle and PQR are the what? Sides. So I'll have this. This is root 3 is greater than 1 and 1, so I'll put my root 3 here. And it happens to be P, so this will be angle P. So this becomes small letter P. And these two other sides are equal, so it's like these are exactly an isosceles triangle. So P and Q, Q and arrow can be anywhere. So we have this like this, and we also have this. This is 1, this is what? 1. This small letter arrow, and this small letter what? Q. Now I'm looking. I'll want to look for one of the smaller what? Angle, and I'll simply have, if I'm looking for arrow using sine rule, I'll have arrow over sine capital letter arrow will be equals to what? Q all over sine capital letter what? Q equals to what? Where is the third? Third is what? PQ. So P all over sine capital letter what? P. Now our arrow is 1, so our small letter arrow is 1, so I have my sine what? Capital arrow. My Q is what? 1. Or I have my sine what? My sine capital letter Q will be equals to what? My P. P is root 3 all over sine capital letter what? P. So this is the first thing we do. Now after doing this, if you observe these two sides, the two sides will be equal. Since the two sides are equal, the two angles certainly will be what? Equal. So therefore this is what? An isosceles triangle. And if this is an isosceles triangle, this, if there's a line here, it will split this into exactly what? Two equal what? Right angles. And this angle here will be equal to this what? Angle here. Take note that I don't want to use that approach. I just want to use, what's it called? I just want to use cosine rule direct to get my angle P. So if I want to get my angle P, I will have angle P to be equal to what? Cos inverse of open brackets. I've already gotten this as root 3. So I have root 3 square plus 1. Is it root 3 square? No. I'll have it as what? The two other sides. 1 square plus 1 square minus root 3 square all over 2 times 1 times what? 1. Please take notes. This is the side. I'm looking for this angle. So I have my angle P to be equal to what? Cos inverse of 1 square is 1, another 1 square is 1, minus this square we cancel, will be giving what? 3, all over 2 times 1, 2 times 1, 2. So I have angle P to be equal to what? Cos inverse of 1 plus 1, 2, and 2 minus 3 will give me minus what? 1, all over what? 2. So if I check the cos inverse of 0.5, shift cos minus 0.5 will give me 120 what? Degree. So angle P is equal to 120 degree. If angle P is 120 degree, and we know that Q and arrow are of the same ratio 1:1 in terms of size, since their sides are equal, their angles will also be what? Equal. So I can simply say angle what? You can say angle P plus angle Q plus angle arrow will be equal to 180 what? Degree. And angle P is what? 120 degree. So angle Q plus angle arrow will be equal to 180 degree minus angle what? P, which equal 180 degree minus what? 120 what? Degree. So you have angle Q plus angle arrow to be equal to what? 60 what? Degree. And after that, you simply say, but these two sides are equal, so therefore angle Q equal what? Angle P. So if the two of them they are equal, you can simply say 2 angle of any of it, or you simply say, to make it easy, since the two of them are equal, I can say angle Q plus what? Angle R equal angle Q. So I can say angle Q again to be equals to what? 60 degree. And this will give me 2 angle Q to be equals to what? 60 degree. And angle Q will be equals to what? 60 degree over 2. And angle Q will be equals to what? 30 what? Degree. But remember, angle Q equal angle P. Angle Q equal angle P equals to what? 30 what? Degree. So we've gotten our 3 angles. So our 3 angles are, they said we should do it in this ratio. Remember, they said we should do it in that ratio. So my angle P is 120 degrees. So I have one which is angle P ratio angle Q ratio angle arrow will give me 120 degree ratio what? 30 degree ratio what? 30 what? Degree. Now you can see all the degrees can cancel. So I have 120 ratio 30 ratio what? 30. This can cancel, this can cancel this. And I'll have 12 ratio 3 ratio what? 3. And 3 here 1, 3 here 1, and 3 here 4. So I'll simply have 1 ratio 4 ratio 4 as the answer to this why what question. We have a question on the board. It said in the figure below, PQ arrow X is a cyclic quadrilateral, and PQ, here's our PQ. PQ is 7 centimeter, Q arrow is 8 centimeter, and P arrow is what? 7.5 centimeter. It said we should calculate angle PS arrow. But where is even angle PS arrow? This is my P, this is my S, this is my arrow. So I'm looking for this angle. That's first. Secondly, the cell should, if S arrow is equals to XP, that distance, then calculate SP arrow. Where is my SP arrow? XP arrow. So I'm also looking for this what? Angle. So let's see how we can do that. First, we should have some information about cyclic quadrilateral. the opposite angles of cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary, meaning my total angle for P from here to here should be equal to my total angle of arrow from here to here. Take note. And my angle X here to here plus my angle Q here to here will be add up to give me 180. So P arrow must add up to give you 180 and SQ must add up to give you what? 180. Now, I have three sides, which is this, this, and this. I can look for this angle, and this other what? Angle. So P arrow and Q relating to a triangle PQ arrow can be looked for. But what do I really need? I need this. Because if I get this and I add it with this, the both will add up to give me what? 180. And I can get my S after getting what? Q. So this is what I mean. Angle Q, using cosine rule, using this, if I remove these two lines, let me try to get it where I'll simply get this 7.5, this 7, this 8, this P, this Q, and this what? Arrow. And I'm looking for this angle. Now, to get this angle Q, I will simply say angle Q should be equals to, using cosine rule, or how you should know it now, this should simply give me what? 8 square plus what? 7 square minus 7.5 square. You always subtract the square of the side facing the angle, and you use 2 to multiply this first two sides without the what? Square. 2 times 8 times what? 7. So I'll have my angle Q. I'll have my angle Q to be equals to cos inverse of 8 square is what? 64. 7 square is what? 49. Minus 7.5 square will give me 56.25 all over 2 times 6, 2 times 8, 16. So I have 16 times what? 7 to give me 1, 1 or 2. And I'll have it as cos inverse again of 64 plus 49 minus 56.25. This will give me 56.75 all over 112. So I'll divide it by what? 112. And I'll have my angle to be equal to cos inverse of 0.5067. So my angle Q will therefore give me 59.56 what? Degree to 2 decimal places. But it didn't ask me to look for angle what? Q. They said to look for what? PS arrow. PS arrow. So we can simply have this angle Q is equals to PQ arrow. If you want to really write it in the standard way in YH, angle Q here is equals to P angle Q, angle what? Q, angle P rather, PQ what? Arrow, which equals to what? 59.56 what? Degree. Now, you must know that angle PS arrow, which we are looking for, angle PX arrow plus angle PQ arrow will be equals to 180 degree. And the reason is because opposite angles or in a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary. It's a cyclic quadrilateral. Why? This is a quadrilateral having four-sided shape, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are touching the edges of the what? The circumference of the circle. That makes it a cyclic quadrilateral. And the sum of opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral are what? Equal to 180 what? Degree. So I'll have my angle PS arrow to be equal to 180 degree minus angle PQ arrow, which equal 180 degree minus, where's my PQ arrow is what? 59.56 what? Degree. And this will give me 180 minus that value, and I'll have 120.4 what? Degree to the nearest tenth. So I have 120.4 degree for my first answer, which is I. 120.4 what? Degree. So a second question was equally asked that we should look for what? SP arrow. SP, which is this angle. If what? S arrow is equals to X what? P. So I'm done with this. I can clean it. So going to the Roman figure 2. Now they said those two angles are equal, and I've gotten 120.4 already. If these two sides are equal, let me bring the triangle out. And we have that as already as 120.4 degree. And they said SP equal to what? S arrow. So I can put two lines here if I like. The two of them are equal. If the two of them are equal, it simply means the triangle. If these two sides are equal, it simply means the triangle is an isosceles triangle. And therefore the base angles must be what? Equal. Therefore I can simply have this to say, yes, this is my what? Arrow. Using it in Y standard, I can simply have angle XP arrow. If I'm using this, then I don't need to use this. Take note. Angle SP arrow, which we are looking for, XP arrow plus, where is it? S arrow P. S arrow P angle plus what? The one we've gotten already. PS arrow, PS arrow, PS arrow, PS arrow will be equal to 180 what? Degree. PS what? Arrow. Now, these two angles are equal. Since I'm looking for SP arrow, I can substitute SP arrow for S arrow what? P. So I have SP arrow plus SP arrow. I'm replacing this with this since the two of them are equal. Base angles of isosceles triangle. Plus what? Can be equals to 180 degree minus PS arrow. PS what? Arrow. So this becomes 2SP arrow to be equals to what? 180 degree minus 120.4 what? Degree, which gives me 180 minus answer will give me 59.6 what? Degree. Now I have 2 SP what? Arrow, or divide through by 2 so that I'll have SP arrow, which I'm looking for, to be equals to 29.8 what? Degree to the nearest what? Tenth. And this is my solution to the two questions. So this is what? 29.8 what? Degree. Thank you. It said, given the figure below, find cos P in triangle PQ what? Arrow. PQ arrow. Hence, find QX. QX. So how do we find cos P? They said in triangle what? QP arrow. So solution. Since we are focusing on QP arrow, we have it this way. This Q, this P, and this what? Arrow. Arrow is made side P arrow is made up of PX and what? X arrow. So we have 6 plus what? 2 giving us what? 8 cm. This is actually what? 9 cm. And this is what? 5 what? cm. Now I'm looking for what? Cos P, which is this. If I'm looking for cos P, I can use the formula as cos P to be equals to what? Now I won't have cos inverse again. Take note. Will give me what? What's the value? The two other values. 5 square plus 8 square. 5 square plus 8 square minus what? 9 square all over what? 2 times what? 5 times what? 8. I'm looking for cos P. So don't know the same P equal cos inverse. I'm looking for cos P. That's what was asked. 5 square is what? 25. 8 square is what? 8 times 8, 64. 9 square is 9 times 9, 81. All over 2 times 5, 10. 10 times 8, 80. This will give me what? 25 plus 64 minus what? 81. This will give me 8 over what? 80. And if I divide through by 8, 8 here will give me 1. 8 here will give me what? 10. So I have 1 over what? 10 as the value of what? Cos P. So cos P is equals to 1 over what? 10. First question. Gotten. Where is it? So again, they said we should look for QX. So for me to get my QX, I already have angle P. So I can get my QS. this is P, this is Q, and this is what? X. And I'm looking for this, which is small letter what? P. This is 5 what? cm, representing what? X here. And this is what? And this is what? 6 cm, representing small letter Q there. So I'm looking for P. So I have P square, which is equals to what? QX what? Square, will be equals to what? X square plus what? Q square. If you check for shift the value of this 1/10, to give you 84 point something, so you can use your negative value for here. 2xq cos angle what? P. So this will give me what? This QS, which we are looking for, which is equals to this. X is what? 5. So I have 5 square plus what? 6 square minus 2 times 5 times 6 cos. Now, cos P is 1/10. So I'll simply use 1/10. 2 times 5 is 10. So this can cancel this. I'll have 6 left. So I'll have 5 square 25 plus 6 square 36 minus what? 6. So 25 plus 36 minus 6 will give me what? 55. So P square, ordinary P will give me the square root of 55, and square root of that value will give me 7.416 watts, which unit? Centimeter. So this is my what? Answer. They said in the figure below, we should find the value of BD and angle BCD. So having the diagram, we can simply see that this is what? 85 degree. This 6. A, B, C, and what? D. I can put a straight line here, which is my distance, what? BD asked. And I have 6 and I have 7. I can use my, this can be small letter A, this can small letter D, and small letter what? B. And you can see that from this I can use my cosine rule to get my small letter A, which is equals to BD. So I can say small letter A square equal BD square equals to small letter A. Since I'm using A, I have B and D. Will give me B square plus what? D square, and the angle is less than what? 90. So I have minus 2BD cos capital letter what? A. So I have my BD now square to be equals to, my B is what? 7 square, my D is 6 square minus 2 times 7 times 6 cos 85 what? Degree. So 7 square is what? 49. 6 square is what? 36 minus 2 times 7, 14. And 14 times 6 cos 47. 14 times 6 cos 85 rather will give me 7.321. And I'll have 49 plus 36 minus 7.321. And I'll have 77.679. So BD square will be this, and BD will be equals to the square root of 77.679, which will give me sort of this answer, which is 8.81 to 2 decimal will give me 8.81 units, since the units are not given. And if you watch, since this angle is big, it's almost 90, it's bigger than this two other side. We don't know if this two other side will be bigger, but since this is 7, this is the biggest side, and this will be the biggest angle compared to this and this. This must be the biggest angle because the side is already bigger than these two other sides. Take note about that. And they say we should also look for angle BCD, which is this angle. And I've already gotten my BD, which is equivalent to A there, as 8.81. So I can put my 8.81 here. I have my 9 here. I have here as what? 8. Now, I can use angle BCD equal angle what? C actually equals to what? Cos inverse of, I will simply use it straightforward because I'll subtract this square. Remember, I'm talking about C. So I'll have a square plus what? 9 square minus 8.81 square all over 2 times 8 times what? 9. And this will give me my angle what? Angle BCD to be equals to cos inverse of a square. A square sine is 64 plus what? 81 minus 8.81 what? Square, giving me 77.6161 all over, and it come to the top a little. So I have this value as 64.81 minus the value I got. This will give me angle BCD to be equals to cos inverse of 67.3839 all over 2 times 8, 16 times 9 gives me 144. So let's verify this top. Is a square plus 9 square minus 8.81 square, giving me, yeah. So if I divide by 144, I will have it as cos inverse of 0.4679, which equal, so my angle BCD finally will give me 62.1 degree to 1 decimal point, and this is my what? Answer.